I would just say that try to understand us because we're new. We don't understand some things. Just be patient.
I have a little story from what happened at the beginning of the school year. A young girl that I had taught in my ESLD class came to see me in my role as a guidance counselor, and she wanted to draw her, I think it was psychology, anthropology, and sociology course, and she was really quite worried about this, and yet it was a field that we had talked about that she was really interested in. So I was probing her about why she wanted to drop this course, and she was like completely intimidated. She says because it seemed like all the students in the class could talk in paragraphs and essays when they, the teachers would start the class discussions, and she was sitting there absolutely terrified that the teacher would ask her and all she could do is a sentence. And how we resolved this problem by I talked to the teacher and said, could you sort of talk to her and sort of, let her know that you won't ask her a question unless you know that she's prepared until she feels more comfortable in the class. And, a couple weeks later, the teacher had done this and the kid was completely fine. And so it just shows just how that consideration, so that she's not sitting there terrified through the whole class and not learning, because what if the teacher asks me a question?
Yeah.
But and that was her big thing, that she was doing that. So.
Teaching.
Oh, I would love that. That would be great. I'm always going for help, so it would be great to have the help right there in the class, and obviously one teacher to 28 or more students. You can't always spend the time that you want to spend with the ESL learners, so it can be a bit frustrating at times. I think something else that I would love to see would be some kind of program that would support the new students coming in from another country in terms of adjusting to being in a new place, because I think having traveled a lot myself, I know that it's very difficult to go into a new place, not only to learn the new language, but new customs, new people, new food, and I think it has a big bearing on how well they learn, and if they had some kind of program to kind of help or assist them in that way, it would have a definite effect on their learning. I think, again, being a first-year teacher, it's really important to ask about everything, to ask questions. There are resources out there. There are people that can help you in terms of modifying whatever program you need to do. So it's really important to search and find those things because they're really useful.
The teachers are tend to be very supportive at LAM because they've had a lot of in-service in the past, but we do have a lot of new teachers, and so we continue to build on that and involve them in some support. We try to build in as much monitoring as possible given the extra demands in teaching these days. I feel it's really important at the end of each semester to talk with each of my teachers and look at the placement of each student, because that's critical to make sure they're at the right level.
We try to provide our staff with a monthly newsletter which incorporates updates about the ESL program at Langstaff, but also accommodations that they can be providing for their students in their classrooms. Because aside from the 3 ESL classes that I teach and the English classes that the students take, the rest of their subjects are core history and English, geography, science, and they do find those classes challenging. So we have to be able to provide our teachers with the support on how they can accommodate for that.
My mom is comfortable coming into school and for interviews, but the fact that she didn't really know English very well, our interview would be like 1 minute. And mostly the teacher would do all the talking, so my mom would get kind of embarrassed because the only thing she would ask is how's her marks and all that. That's all.
My parents didn't feel comfortable because they didn't know English and they didn't know any parents. And there was a party, the school organized it, and it was party for parents, and my parents didn't go because they didn't know English, and so they couldn't talk to parents. But then my dad went on a trip with me, and there were some parents too. So they were nice to my dad. They were talking, and then my dad went, why didn't I go to the party? The parents all were really nice.
Finish off with.
School curriculum is different from country to country. Like
Yeah.
in Korea, because my parents went to Korean school in Korea, right? So they know the system of Korean education, but they don't know they didn't study in Canada, so they don't know the career system, education system. So they always asking, but we can't answer all of them. And I think it's better to have have class sometime during year that school invite immigrants parents to talk about the school curriculum and what's tag and what's going on and all that kind of stuff.
My parents, they felt comfortable when they come here. The only time when they didn't feel comfortable was the very first day when I was getting registered, and Canada came on. We didn't know what we were supposed to do, so we were just sitting, and a teacher passes by and she's like, could you stand up? And we didn't understand her, so we're just still sitting down, and she's like, could you please stand up? And it was kind of rude the way she said it the second time, and it's and then we understood it, so we stood up, and my dad thought that was rude, but because we didn't know, so basically, yeah.
Because none of my family can speak English, so but my mom told me that she really wants to communicate to school, so she said, can there be some Chinese people to talk to her?
We also have access to interpreters to help us with parent-teacher interviews, and we have translators who can translate the very important documents that the parents need to understand when they're sent home. We have an organization called SEPT Workers. They are a settlement and educational partnership in Toronto, and they have been a wonderful addition in recent years because these are the people that represent the different languages in our school and cultures, and they are able to make the connections with the parents and also help us out with the children from time to time. And they are in our school for usually 2 or 3 days a week, so we have good access to them, and they can make phone calls home to parents to if a teacher has a particular issue that they need to have the parents know about. So that's a wonderful service that we have.